As much as we all like to rip on men, this is time to take some accountability.
Yeah. Did she just lie to all of us?
All right, Pasty George.
Absolutely.
I think Chair 1 is onto something, because then why do the top 10% of men get literally thousands upon thousands of women willing to jump their peepees with the drop of a hat?
Exactly. And everyone that says they don't care about looks or wealth, they will.
I was going to ask if I could comment on that. I mean, if you talk about millions of women, like, I don't know what the exact population of women in the world is, but if you got millions of women, if 10% of them are superficial and will, and I say that with a lot of love and a grain of salt, but like even if only 10% of them are that type of women, then that's still hundreds of thousands of women that would agree with that and would jump this person's bones. But again, it's way less like, yes, physically attractive people attract more types of people, and yes, they're going to be more likely the physically drawn women are going to date and possibly sleep with them. But the women who value things beyond that, above physical attraction and emotional intelligence and integrity and values, are going to be a little bit more selective than that, and they're not going to jump this guy's pants just for that.
I think the women that care about those things are not superficial. They have bitter survival instincts, and I think that's what it is. Like the people and the women that don't have that, you guys would not survive natural selection.
Also, I don't think it's necessarily like, is it wrong for a woman to, like, say a woman is really well adjusted. Is it wrong for her to select on the basis of physical attractiveness? I would say no.
It's not wrong, but it's not wise either. Either she's shooting out of her league, or she's prioritizing the wrong traits in men, which will haunt her in the future.
It's literally in our nature to want that. It's okay. I think the society makes us think certain things that we want is not okay, because that's how they divide us, and that's how they make us smaller and smaller by division. But when it comes to it, there's certain things that is the truth. But if we keep saying it's not the truth, we're lying to each other, and it divides us. That's why we're becoming so weak and divided, and everything's going to shit. It's because we don't want to agree with those things.
I just think people should be realistic. It's like, hey, I'm average looking.
It's hard to be real these days. It's the hardest thing to be real these days, because I think there is a reason why everyone's being so fake and they don't want to accept reality, is because it goes back to, I don't know, I have some thoughts on this that is too deep, but I think division is a way of like the people that are on top to like have us stay small and divide us and think that we want us to delusional. But I think there is things that are just the real answer to things.
What is about
the reason why most of these girls are not living in reality or telling each other the truth is because they're trying to avoid conflict at every turn. They don't want to be canceled, and they're always trying to look like a good person. They're a prisoner of their own wokeness.
you if somebody's
Sorry, I think she's been...
Oh, no. Go ahead.
Okay,
go ahead.
Thank you. And I was going to say, I actually agree with you on several points with some minor tweaks. Like, I do think division comes from the top, but also when you say it's in our nature as women to want to go for good-looking guys, I would say it's feminine to go for beauty, in the sense that men, for the most part, are ingrained from day one to prioritize beauty in women and to be slightly more superficial, so to say, and when it comes to physical attractiveness. But I do think, to your point about it being in our best survival interest to go for, like a stronger man, a more of a provider man, like I think that is true. And also the point about how the top 20% of men get the 80% of women, or whatever that statistic was. A lot of that, I think, has to do with women being more hypergamous by nature, because as women, as you said, like, we typically want to be taken care of. We want to feel safe and provided for. So it makes sense for a woman to want to go for a man who is better than her. And especially now with women doing better in the workforce and being more financially stable and independent, it might be a little bit more difficult to find a man who is better than her. So that could also be why it seems like there is more stiff competition amongst women competing for the top percentage of men.
I think that's part of the division too. The fact that women are doing better than men, that's like also not naturally, it's not supposed to be that way. And when we say we're better than men, like, you think us financially being better than men is better than men, actually, because all our financial is because of men. So we're not really better than them. We just have a bunch of men taking care of us.
What is he doing?
He's beginning to believe.
And then we judge the men that have no woman taking care of them.
Well, but nothing about finances is natural. That's not something you'd find in the wild.
She's off on this one. Money equals resources, and resources equal survival in nature.
Don't have currency.
We could have met, like, I think it was better before and it was more fair, like, years ago.
So just generally speaking, like, just on a psychology standpoint, like, if 90% of your beliefs are subconscious, and our reticular activating system is meant to find evidence for the thing that confirms our own beliefs. So different people have different truths and different realities. I'm not here to change your opinion or anybody else's opinion on what works for them, because that's your personal empowerment and your personal choice. However, I am living, breathing evidence, as well as a lot of the women that I interact with, that there are other values that you can live by, and that there are other beliefs that you can live by, and have different experiences that don't subscribe to some of the things that we're talking about here. So what I always ask as a coach is really just like, do you like the results that you're getting from that mindset and that belief, and do you feel empowered by it?
I didn't have this mindset before, and that's why I don't have the results that I wanted. I used to be a feminist. I used to believe in the things that you guys believe, and that's why I'm where I am. And there's like, then I realized when I actually matured and I'm no longer a 21-year-old, there's like, this is so fucking cool that I'm just like naked and I'm making millions of dollars. Then you start actually connecting with your natural, and then you're like, oh, that's why there's the people that are more successful, the people that are better, the people that do better in society, they think that way. You know, whoever thinks this way is usually better. They're more in shape, they have more money, and there is a reason, because when you think more connected to your nature and your natural instincts, you usually do better, because that's how you win. And the people that don't think like that, they're usually, they don't have
You had a
life that I
question?
want.
She was a feminist, out of nature, doing things that did not align with her soul. But now she's woken up and she's been red-pilled, a whole different mindset. If this transformation is real, kudos to her.
I don't remember it, to
I
be
think
honest with you.
you were going to ask me
Oh,
why
yeah.
it matters.
Yeah, why you seem to be particularly bothered by average people overinflating their looks.
Oh, I mean, I don't, I wouldn't say bothered. I would say it's amusing to me. But
So you said, I just want average people to say that they're average. Why?
I think Brian, this
truth-
is a different value system, first and foremost. Like,
Yeah.
Brian.
You do.
Well, I'd say first off, truth is important. So, I mean, this sort of thinking is the same stuff that is, you know, not to basically get into slippery slope stuff, but this sort of mindset and thinking is what has basically brought us to, okay, yeah, we should be allowed to give children puberty blockers. We should allow biological males to compete in sports with women because it feels right.
No, but you could make
Brian couldn't have said it any better. They're all connected. They're all intertwined, these ideas and ideologies. It's about putting feelings over facts.
the argument that there's a medical, you could make the argument that like puberty blockers to children have medical ramifications, and women, or, you know, people who were born male who've transitioned competing in women's sports, like you can make an argument that that hurts the other women. An average person saying that they're more than average looking hurts no one. It does nothing to anybody.
Well, I'd like to provide a bit of pushback for you and to answer your original question for why it matters. So if you thought that you were more attractive than you otherwise were, this is going to manifest itself in who you choose to date or who you choose to not date. So, for example, if you think you, and it could be the case that you, here's why I want to be a bit charitable. Somebody could do this as a sort of confidence play to, you know, big up them, but they might actually be somewhat realistic when it comes to the people that they're going to be pursuing romantically. But if somebody is genuinely delusional, and you would agree with me that some people are genuinely delusional.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're chasing after a certain caliber or league of person. She rejects that there's leagues. I find this a bit dubious, but then they're going to be constantly disappointed. And this is gendered though. It plays out very differently. If I'm constantly shooting my shot with women who are outside my league, I'm instantly rejected. For example, if I were to step to a woman, shoot my shot, I'm not getting a conversation. I'm not getting a date. Maybe I could get used for a foodie call, maybe. But in any case, I'm not getting anything further. I'm not getting any short-term sexual access. I'm not going to be typically strung along for the purposes of her using me for sex for a couple weeks, a couple months. Conversely, women who simply by being sexually available to men can have sexual relationships with men who are outside of their league, but those men will never give those women anything else. They won't give them commitment. So what ends up happening, as a woman, you can test this out. If you make yourself sexually available to men, you're going to encounter men who, that's how women get into situationships and fuck boys and dealing with that. And, oh, he won't commit to me. Who's more likely to be complaining about the opposite sex being unwilling to give them commitment, men or women?
There's no question. It's got to be women. All you got to do is log into TikTok and you can see all the videos about these women complaining about all the men that won't commit. It's comical.
Do you think it's men out there who are like, wow, there's this chick that's a slut, but I really want her for like long-term commitment and she won't give me commitment, but I can sleep with her? Is it more often the case that women are dealing with men that won't give them commitment, or the reverse?
I got commitment from somebody who was way out of my league. Out of my league.
Hold on. I get.
This is turning into a running joke now. They always reply with this anecdotal story about it happened to me. Are you unable to think outside of yourself?
Was he?
Yeah, he was substantially out of my league in every department. And
okay, congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So it's not impossible to find somebody who's out of your league. And I'll say, as a man, if you want to date women out of your league, become more charismatic.
Okay.
Become more interesting.
Charismatic. Hold
yeah.
on.
But you said
okay, hold on.
One body count.
But why don't
I didn't
you
say I had
answer,
one body count. I said I had one boyfriend.
That's great. I can also point to women who I think are dating, like, for example, Jeff Bezos, who's dating Lauren Sanchez or whatever. I think he could probably attract women who are way more attractive in like a bunch of metrics. So I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm just talking about a general statement here.
Well, men.
So why don't you answer my question? Though?
Okay. Men.
So, okay. Generally speaking, who complains more about not being able to procure commitment from the type of people that they want, men or women?
Women, because men typically prefer, until they're ready to like start a family, they seek meaningless sex. They seek these casual relationships. Women tend to look for more commitment before engaging in a sexual relationship.
So I have a disagreement with this, and I don't think it's necessarily a gender issue. I think it's more of an attachment style issue. As somebody who's an attachment coach, people who are typically anxiously attached are going to go after people who are emotionally unavailable and not willing to give them commitment. So I actually coach many men who are dating avoidant women who are obsessed, and I mean that very respectfully because they're in a lot of pain, but that are actively seeking out avoidant women, wanting commitment, wondering why this person won't commit to them. And so I have direct experience on the opposite perspective. So again, it's way more of an attachment thing than a gender thing.
Listen, if you're a man being coached by her, you're a fucking idiot. Get your money back and run for the hills.
Wait, so you're saying the men, they're sleeping with these women and the women don't want to commit?
Yeah.
I don't dispute that this is something that occurs. However, I believe that the reverse is far more common.
Well, men are typically more avoidant than women, no?
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Shit, I'm saying.
You even said yourself you weren't really hot to get married.
You got to speak into the mic.
You even said yourself you weren't hot to get married. You said why? Because, you'd have to give up so much.
Look, I'm happy to address my position on marriage. That's a separate conversation. So back to this. I genuinely think it's the case in terms of why it's important. Again, as a woman, you can get sexual access to men who won't give you commitment. The reverse is just, again, it can happen, but it's really, there's a massive differential.
I mean, I think again, like that's just like your perspective, and hey, it might be true if you took out data, like, you know, from a big collective. It might happen more often for men or women or whatever it is. I'm just saying, in my experience, what I've seen is that if somebody is, it's again way more of an emotional maturity and attachment style thing rather than women or men or whatever it is, because there are plenty of people out there, both men and women, who are seeking connection from somebody who's just fundamentally emotionally unavailable, and that they're seeking that and that they're getting into these situations. I think men, honestly, are probably just less vocal about it.
Wait, so just to be clear, you're saying men who won't give commitment, this is always an indicator of them having an avoidant personality
Absolutely
style?
not.
That's completely
that's
ridiculous.
not what I'm saying at all.
Men will happily have sex with women who they will never commit to, and they don't have any avoidant dating style, on the sole basis that that woman is just simply not physically attractive enough to give a relationship to. But they'll keep her around for the easy access to sex.
Sure.
Women don't really operate that way.
If she's perfect, if she's ready for you, if she wants to date you, if you're having sex and it's good enough that you keep coming back for it, and the only reason he won't date her is because she's not physically attractive enough?
Yes.
The way she said it, it's almost like it's not a big deal. You know, I have to be attracted to you to be aroused, right?
The woman could meet a whole bunch of his other metrics, but she's just... Yeah, she could be pleasant to be around, all this stuff, but she's just not physically attractive enough.
I don't know any man that thinks like that.
What is she talking about? This is how you know that most of the men that she's talked to in her life have not kept it real with her at all.
Is your perfect woman, she's just not hot enough?
Here dealt with a fuckboy? Or been strung along in a situationship?
Yeah, but the fuckboy doesn't think you're his perfect woman other than your looks. The fuckboy goes, oh, easy pussy? Cool. That's what it is. It's not like, oh my God, she's perfect. She makes me laugh. She's like my best friend. We get along so well. We're perfectly aligned in morals and in our views in life. It's just that she's not hot enough for me. No, it's not
common.
They're just not getting that attached.
I feel like some people don't want to be in relationships.
So your whole argument would be then that, okay, this person could be perfect for you, but if the physical component isn't there, they should still date that person anyway?
If they love them, yeah.
You serious?
If it's your perfect person and it's just you don't find them as attractive, then that sounds like they're checking a lot of boxes.
Like hits all the boxes, but you're just not physically attracted to them.
You're physically attracted in some way. You're having sex with them.
I think you underestimate the degree to which men will engage in a casual sexual encounter.
Maybe I just don't deal with men that are that.
Have you ever had a one-night stand?
Yeah, once.
Once, okay.
And
have you ever been in a situationship?
No.
No. Okay, so perhaps you're a bit more discerning when it comes to who you're going to date.
Women give sex for love.
Sorry, am I just making this up? Women have never struggled to get commitment from a guy.
No, women struggle.
Am I speaking like, is that a weird concept?
It's not a weird concept.
Struggle to get commitment,
but I am
from
saying
the guys that they're attracted to.
It's not the situation that like she's perfect and she checks all of my boxes, but I think I could get somebody a little bit hotter. Like, I don't think that that's the thing that they're running into.
Here's why I disagree with that, is that
I feel like people like having options,
very, very possible,
like
very
nowadays,
probable
too.
that there is... Sorry, did I interrupt you?
No, you can go.
Okay. I think it's very possible and probable that is there a collective of men out there who are just weighing their options and waiting for the better thing? Or
that's what I was saying.
Sure.
There is a population of them out there.
Sure.
I'm not going to lie. And there is a population of women that do accept that treatment from them and do accept that level of standards from them. But first and foremost, again, to make what you said earlier, just because somebody's not physically attracted or wants to commit to somebody does not automatically make them avoidant. Let me make that clear. However, emotional unavailability on a general spectrum is that, hey, I am not willing to commit to you because of XYZ reasons, whether it's because of your attractiveness, your morals, your values, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So again, are there populations out there that go underneath these beliefs? Yes. But I'm talking about the people who are actually, like, in my opinion and my values, ready for commitment, are looking for something deeper than that.
Can I ask you what you personally think, if you're going to use the rating system, what is the number that you think you could max get, you personally? Like, what number of woman?
It varies.
No, but like your maximum that you, if it's just looks, the maximum that you could get.
Again, but I already stated that when it comes to attraction, there's other components besides just looks.
I know that.
And so there's other things that can make you attractive, status, money, personality,
but just looks,
etc. I feel like, at least for me, I don't know if it's entirely fair to, it wouldn't be entirely fair for me to answer this question. No. But if you were to ask an average guy,
No, I'm not asking an average guy. I'm asking, because I'm getting to another point, but let me ask you directly, like right now, and you can factor in your status and popularity.
I think looks-wise, I think I could get up to a 7.
Okay.
But I think I'm bringing a lot of other things to the table.
That's fine.
Besides just looks.
Right.
So.
And I agree with that.
But on look scale, put like 5.
But you think that you could right now, just with everything that you've got going on in your life, you could attain a 7, and that's the ceiling for you. You think that?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
With everything
so,
you have.
For a guy like Brian, I can see him pulling between 7 to 8. He does have money and clout, and that goes a long way.
If all your success, you can get a 10.
I don't think
you can get a 10 with success.
Fine.
There is no 10.
I'm not debating what you can have, what you can't have. I'm saying,
hold on. It's not. I'm being realistic. It's not a lack of confidence.
That's fine. So you think you could get a 7 and that's the ceiling? Totally fine. If you got a 6 right now, who checked all of your boxes, she was everything that you've ever wanted in a woman, but she was a 6, and you could get a 7. Are you committing?
Me personally, I'm choosing the 6. That's perfect in every other category. Ain't no point chasing the 7 that could be flawed.
Oh, am I committing? Let's think about this. And she's everything I want.
She's everything you want, but she is a 6.
Well, just to be clear,
and you can get a 7.
Yeah, sure. She can be my girlfriend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, but Brian,
but is this like is that an own?
But
like,
it's just
I don't
one
understand.
I wasn't trying to own you. I'm trying to understand your point of view on this, because
the difference is earlier you were saying that the girl is unattractive but checked all the boxes, but now you're saying she's a 6 with all the boxes checked. That's a big difference.
You're saying that there's guys who will have everything, perfect woman, but will reject her and not commit to her because he thinks that he can get a little bit better in the looks department.
Well, hold on. No. That's not exactly what I'm saying. If there's a guy who say he's an 8 or whatever.
Sure.
He might entertain, in terms just for a short-term casual thing, a woman who's a 6 or a 5. And you're adding on a qualifier of, oh, well, she also meets like all his other prerequisites.
That was my point.
But hold on. But men will also sleep with women who are less attractive, who also don't really meet their other like personality standards too.
Yeah, and they won't
women do the same thing.
Right.
I've done
just
it
for
before.
sex.
And that's men will have sex with a McChicken if left to their own devices. We've seen that.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
But I'm saying, like, you're saying, oh, well, women aren't getting commitment just because she's not attractive enough. And I'm saying, well, no, she might not be attractive enough. Like,
what
she might
about
not
the
be the
women
ceiling.
that do have commitment, but the men, like I get all the time, are married men? So how great is a commitment when they're still on the chase?
It's great.
But also, there are plenty of women, because we all have needs, right? And so maybe we meet a man, and it maybe has never happened to our host, but we meet a man who checks some of our boxes, but not all of them. So we can entertain them for something short-term or temporary, or realize this is not our forever person, but they're fine for now, which is how you get into short-term flings. And maybe the man wants commitment or not, but you still know in your heart that this man is not the one for you, but he will do or suffice for now.
The thing about that is, women can't afford to waste time. You guys are on a biological shot clock to get everything done as soon as possible. You're not like men. We can bust nuts to the day we die. You guys have eggs that expire at a certain date, so you gotta move accordingly. Doing all these situationships and hookups like men will only hurt you in the long run. On to the next.
That's what I call a chain reaction.
Manifest my own destiny. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, the perfect recipe. May they remember me, my words will live on. I'm guided by your energy, your flame, hold it close to you. Check out my melodies. It's the media that's been leading you. I'll show you a thing. Misdirection was the message, they don't want you to win.
As much as we all like to rip on men, this is time to take some accountability.